Is a massive winter storm about to hit? Weather update American cities #150. A high-impact stretch of weather is developing right now. Starting with a serious severe weather threat today that includes tornadoes and winter storms today now. This massive system is set to impact tens of millions of people across the country. We might even see a nor'easter by the weekend. This afternoon, an upper-level disturbance sweeps the river valleys now. As warmer and more humid air surges northward ahead of this system, the atmosphere will become increasingly unstable. This sets the stage for organized thunderstorms capable of producing heavy winds out. We are looking at damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes today. While severe weather happens, a dangerous winter storm will be developing with widespread heavy snow and very gusty winds today too. That is not all because we are eyeing the potential for a nor'easter this weekend. An Arctic blast will clash with a pocket of moisture on Sunday. If it takes the right track, it dumps major snowfall out. I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know about all the different storms that will be impacting the country. We have multiple systems arriving over the next few days in several regions now. One of the most significant events is happening today as we anticipate serious weather across parts of the Ohio Valley. Over 10 million people are currently at risk of these incoming severe storms today. Notice that we have a large one out of 5 marginal threat of severe weather today. That is in the dark green color, including Chicago, Cleveland, and Canton, and as far south as Clarksville right now. Our slight risk area is where we are talking about the possibility of a few tornadoes. This is where we anticipate a lot more wind shear to be in place along with those much warmer temperatures today out. We are seeing higher dew points, meaning higher moisture and also more instability, which is essentially storm fuel. That will be in place anywhere in the yellow zones on the current weather maps now. I think our greatest tornado threat for today will likely set up right in this corridor here. So if you are in Louisville, Evansville, or Dayton, you need to stay very weather aware this afternoon out. If you are in Cincinnati and Indianapolis, you also need to be on high alert. This is a serious situation. Make sure you are prepared for rapidly changing conditions as these storms move in fast today. Looking at the tornado risk for today, we have a 5% risk outlined in the brown shaded area. So Indianapolis and Noblesville, you guys are at least in a low to medium tornado threat today now. Back into Cincinnati, you are also in that elevated risk zone. A much lower end tornado threat will exist in Bloomington, Bowling Green, and Lexington, and stretching back into Columbus for a long day. There's also another severe weather threat tomorrow that we will be talking more about in just a few minutes. A little marginal threat exists across the southeast where damaging winds are possible out. We could also see severe weather continuing into Saturday and maybe even a nor'easter. Today's environment is looking more and more favorable for tornadoes as the low-pressure system slows down lately. I really think this storm is taking a dangerous turn because the low-pressure center is slowing. This means we get more moisture and warmer air further north, creating way more fuel for the storms now. This is very concerning for today's severe weather setup across the Ohio Valley. In fact, experts have a slight risk for right now, but it would not be a surprise if that got upgraded later today out. It is going to depend on the trends here throughout the daytime. These are the STP values, which are your significant tornado parameter values. Reds and oranges are mixing in across the local states now. Where you see those colors in Kentucky, Illinois, and even Indiana, this is where we could have a few tornadoes on the table later today. It is going to be right along a very specific boundary line out. There will also be some elevated convection, most likely off to the north. That could hinder some things depending on how widespread it is, as it could stabilize some of the atmosphere for a little while. But I do think right in this corridor from Cincinnati and Evansville into Louisville, this entire area needs to be very vigilant for a few tornadoes this afternoon. Things are looking very favorable. Southeastern Illinois and southwestern Indiana are looking increasingly favorable for storm growth. We should have a favorable environment at least through about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight here out. After that, things should wind down. The most severe storms will likely only be from about noon today through about 6 or 7. After 7, most of the storms should be elevated or off to the east. They will move into parts of Ohio and Pennsylvania. Now, let's talk more about the timing of severe weather. We will begin with what is happening this morning as storms move through the local region out. We have already had some severe storms in northwest Indiana and northeastern Illinois overnight with some hail and wind. Most of that is now moving into Michigan, mostly as elevated rain showers today. A couple of hailstorms are still possible through about noon today. Right around lunchtime is when we expect storm activity to start to uptick east of St. Louis. Watch this cluster very closely now. Any sort of storm mergers that happen could easily lead to an elevated threat of tornadoes. This is a significant threat of severe weather. By 1 o'clock, several supercells will be fully ongoing out. These specific cells are the ones to really keep an eye on because they will be right along our most favorable boundary of ingredients, including a lot of wind shear and a lot of instability today now. A lot of moisture is forecasted as well. Further to the north, we have several storms ongoing, especially around and west of Indianapolis. But I do think these are going to be more elevated today out. However, there could be a couple of storms behind that which could end up producing a risk of tornadoes. We will be watching those closely. By 2 o'clock, supercells could be on the state borders out. Right along the Indiana and Kentucky border and also eastern Illinois, the tornado threat should continue. By 3 to 4 o'clock, storms continue to push to the east across the entire landscape now. We will still likely have an ongoing tornado threat as long as no major changes to the forecast happen here. With the current ingredients, this is looking like a very ripe environment for weather out. By around 6 to 7 o'clock, storms will still be ongoing, but I do think this is when things are going to get a lot more messy. A lot of the activity out there will be more elevated in nature now. It will be mostly rain with some hail mixed in there and perhaps some gusty winds. Along with that, we should have some other convection going up across Kentucky and Tennessee as the day progresses out. The mid-levels will be much drier by this point. Severe weather is not anticipated there, even though there will be plenty of wind shear across areas like Nashville and central Kentucky tonight lately. During the overnight hours into early Friday morning, things will be clearing out. We could even see some snow showers back over northern Indiana by Friday, around lunchtime as the cold air arrives now. This is not the only problem that this storm is going to bring. As we go into tonight and tomorrow, we will have a pretty large area of heavy snow on the backside of this shifting weather system today. Areas like Des Moines and back into eastern Nebraska near Omaha will see it. It will become more widespread tonight into early tomorrow morning across Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan out. Even northern Illinois will see some action. If you are near Chicago, you guys could see some snowflakes tomorrow. We are talking severe weather today, and then tomorrow we have light snowfall coming. We will also have heavy snowfall ongoing across parts of New England. It will be a very quick transition between snow, freezing rain, and rain. Light icing is possible around southeastern New York out. Northeastern Pennsylvania might see some ice too. Heavy snow will continue in southern New England. This storm system will eventually weaken as we go into late Friday night and Saturday morning now. You might be thinking that is it for this storm, right? Well, maybe not because we could actually have some Arctic air coming out of Canada on Saturday. This system becomes much broader in nature now. There is a very weak low-pressure center over areas near Lake Erie and then some moisture coming out of the south. There's going to be a lot of interesting things happening on Saturday afternoon out. It could actually spiral into some sort of winter storm event along the East Coast on Sunday and Monday. This is still very up in the air. There is a lot of uncertainty right now in the intensity now. But I do think we could be talking about a significant winter storm for parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. Sunday for right now looks like it will be a larger area of just light snowfall out. A weak coastal storm is possible, but late Sunday is where things get highly uncertain along the East Coast. This is where models are basically all over the place, and they do not know what happens now. The GFS model is showing a very intense coastal storm system with very heavy snowfall in Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. It has it intensifying into a bomb cyclone early Monday out. This is something that the GFS has shown for several days now. It has been on and off on placement. The European model has a much weaker storm system, and it just has a lot of snow, but very light today. So again, this is not a slam dunk for right now, but definitely make sure you are prepared. If this happens, it could be a very big deal. We could be talking a foot plus of snowfall along the coast now. Winter is nowhere near done. We are expecting a significant temperature roller coaster over the next several days. Arctic blasts will arrive Sunday into Monday, impacting the entire eastern seaboard.